Welcome back to Speller Tutorial Services. Today we're going to continue our talk on quadratic equations. In this particular example here, we see that we have a quadratic equation, and we know that it is quadratic because its highest exponent is a 2. What they want us to find on this example is the vertex of this quadratic, and we see that this quadratic is already in the standard form. Alright, to find the vertex, a relationship exists where we know the value of x is going to be negative b divided by 2a. And if we want to find the value of y, that's really just saying take the function f that we're starting with and plug in or input the expression negative b over 2a. So in short, we know that the vertex v is defined by negative b over 2a as the x value and f of negative b over 2a as the y value. Being that this quadratic is in standard form, that means we can take off the coefficients of each term. So for example, the value of a is going to be negative 4 because that's the first term, which is the x squared term. The value of b is going to be 3, that's the coefficient of the x term, and c corresponds to the constant, which in this case is a 4. So let's go ahead and figure out what x would be. X is going to be negative b. Well, in this case, b is 3 divided by 2 times a, and here we see a to be negative 4. So as I resolve this, I end up with negative 3 over negative 8. And when my numerator and denominator are negative, I know that resolves down to a positive 3/8. So that there is going to be the x value for the vertex. Now to find the y value. Again, the y value is nothing more than just f of 3/8, where I'm going to take function f, and everywhere I see an x, I'm going to input the value of 3/8. So I end up with negative 4 times 3/8 to the second plus 3 times 3/8 plus 4. Now I have to follow my order of operations. I keep the negative 4. I have to do my exponents first. 3 to the second is 9. 8 to the second is 64. I move to my second term. 3 times 3 gives me 9. And it's understood to be 3 over 1. So the 1 times 8 to give me 8. And then the 4 here stays. Next, before I do any multiplication, I'm going to go ahead and do some canceling. I've got a negative 4 and a positive 64. They share a factor of 4. So when I divide, that becomes negative 1. I divide that by 4, I get 16. So I end up with 9/16 as my first term. For my second term, I know I'm going to add these fractions, but I must have common denominator. I know if I multiply 8 times 2, I get 16, which means I need to multiply that 9 times 2 to get 18. And also I realize now that I've left off this negative, so it should be a negative 9/16 to start. And over here, this is understood to be 4 over 1. I need to have a denominator of 16. So 1 times 16 gives me 16. And 4 times 16 will give me a value of 64. Now to resolve this, negative 9 plus 18 gives me a value of 9. And then 64 plus 9 gives me a numerator of 73. And I keep my denominator of 16. So here I found I have a vertex of 3/8, and the x value is 3/8, and the y value is actually 73/16. Alright, what I want to do now though is to show the decimal equivalent. So let's go ahead and call up the calculator. Alright, on my calculator, let's do 3 divided by 8. And that's going to give me an x value of 375 thousandths. And then let's figure out the y value, which is going to be 73 divided by 16. And that gives me a y value of 4 and let's say 563 thousandths after I round. So that there is going to be the vertex. So now let's go ahead and use the calculator's graphing functions to verify that this here is the is the right answer. So the first thing I want to do is go to my y equals, and I want to input this particular function. So it's negative 4x to the second plus 3x. Whoops, let's get rid of the extra 3 plus 3x plus 4. And then I want to press the graph button to graph this particular function. I've already zoomed in so that it's we get the best possible, one of the best possible pictures of this particular graph. And now I want to go to my second function and press trace to get to the calcs. Under calc, I see where it says maximum, so I press 4 because I want to get the maximum value, which is going to give me the vertex. Here it's asking for the left bound, so I'm going to scroll to the left of what I believe to be the vertex, press enter. Next it's asking for the right bound, so now I'm going to scroll to the right so that I'm right of what I believe to be the vertex. Press enter again. It's going to ask for a guess. I'm not going to ask a guess. I want it to try to find the answer between these two boundaries. And when I press enter, we see that the maximum value is in fact 375 thousandths for the x value, and the y value is 4 and 563 thousandths after I do rounding in that thousandths place. Alright, so this video sums it up for Speller Tutorial Services. Please friend us on Facebook and also subscribe to our YouTube channel, and thank you again for watching.